Hello, Hamilton. It's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and start tackling your own to-do list. I am Bob Asadorian. Welcome to today's episode of the Just Ask Bob Show. We have a very special show for you today. No emails, just a blank page. What we're doing today is we're doing a display of a tool, actually several tools. I have a tool that is just phenomenal. It's called a Fine Multi-Master. It's a revolutionary tool, and we're going to sort of pit it against traditional North American tools, which either reciprocate, like a reciprocating saw, a jigsaw, where you've got that up and down motion, circular saw, where you've got the spiral. Well, this throws North American technology and engineering out the window. This is all about revolutionary German way of doing things, and it may be somewhat new here in Canada, but this has been used for ages in Europe. Let's take a moment to have a look here. This is what we're showcasing today, the Multi-Master by Fine. Now I'll tell you what stands out for this tool immediately. I don't know if people can see it at home. They may be able to. Made in Germany. Very, very important. We've talked about that on this show many, many times about the quality of German tools. Now this tool, there is no, actually, let me give you an example. We've got a North American reciprocating saw. As in the name, reciprocates. Now, this is a phenomenal tool. I'm not knocking it. I use it almost every day. This is for rough work where you're going to distort and make a mess. This is rough demolition. Now, we've got another North American tool, the circular saw. So, you got really important to remember. This rotates. This reciprocates. This tool, what's amazing about the tool is, and we'll power it up in a few moments, this tool, you can't even see that it's on when it is on. It's an oscillation. It's an oscillating, vibrating tool. Now, this has been available, I believe, for nearly 30 years in Germany and Europe. Fine held the patent on it. They had the patent rights on this type of a design, so it was never duplicated by anybody. It's been around, again, in Canada, I'd say maybe the last 15, 20 years, and it retailed for almost $1,000. Now, for the last 2 years, the Home Depot carries it, and as of recently, it's a version that's worth $200. So it's very important to know, not only is it available, but it's available at an affordable price for the simple reason the patent ran out. So the moment the patent expired, everybody from Canadian Tire with the Mastercraft version, right to Milwaukee. And I'm not going to knock Milwaukee. I won't take anything away from them because 90% of my tools are made by Milwaukee. But the point being now, when this used to be worth $1,000, you know, it held its own ground. Nobody could even copy the oscillation or the vibrating type of engineering that went into it. Now you've got Milwaukee making it. You've got Bosch making it. You've got JobMate making it. Everybody creates a version of this tool. But there's one thing they can't copy. Made in Malaysia. Made in China. Only the original is made in Germany. Now, one thing that the viewers at home can't see is the weight difference. This is very, very heavy. It's obviously larger than the Milwaukee. I would say pretty comparable in size to the Bosch. But I can tell you this is about 2 to 3 times heavier than any of them. It's a very strong unit. Again, when it used to be worth $800 to $1,000, let's say it was only on the market for contractors. $200 at the Home Depot, it should be fine for everybody. Now we're going to stop for a break. We're going to come back from break, and we're going to start spreading out. You see what I've built for you here? We've got screws to slice through. We've got a hole already made for a vent. Now, not only is the hole made, we're going to make another one for you on television. We're going to do some cutouts. We're going to slide through the screws. We have another very special blade, which is a scraping blade. Very, very high quality blade. Let me give you some ideas of applications in your own home. Caulking around your windows, adhesive, dried spray foam. This will slice through everything. It's a very, very high quality blade. We've also got tiling work for us here. You ever had to pull out a tile? It's a ton of work. Trust me, I've had to pull out a lot of tiles in my 10 years. Never my own tiles, always the tiles of others. But the first step is getting the tile out, and then that's pure cement. So we're going to use a very special blade to get the thin set out. And then obviously, before you even pull the tile out, you've got to remove the grout. We're also going to show you what happens when you're stuck. In the past, we've used the ABS cutting wheel to cut ABS pipe. Now, when you're cutting ABS pipe, you need to get a full rotation. Now, let's assume your angle is wrong. You need to cut it right here in order to fit on a coupler. What do? Stuck. Wheel ends up useless. We're going to cut that beautifully with the tool. I like to think of it as a troubleshooter. I have it in my place of business. I keep it under the back seat of my truck. This comes into play when I'm stuck on renovations, and it happens quite often. It's the best troubleshooter I've ever had. We'll take a quick break. We're going to start chopping up everything here today. Thank you, Hamilton.
He's big, he's bold, he's a polar bear. And as much as we wouldn't want to run into him face to face, we also wouldn't want to see anything threaten his existence. Hard to believe an animal this big needs our help. But even though the polar bears live far away in the remote Arctic, we are having a negative impact on their lives. Our pollutants travel the oceans and atmosphere and enter their food chain. Plus, climate change is causing the ice they live on to melt earlier each spring. This makes it more difficult for the bears to catch their prey. If you're wondering how you can help, simple things like riding your bike, walking, or taking the bus instead of driving will do a lot for our environment and the polar bears. But that's just a start. If you go to hww.ca, you can learn more about polar bears and find ideas on how to help protect Canada's wildlife. That's hww.ca.
Hi, I'm Larry Deanny, and this is the set for my show, Hamilton Talks. Every week I spend time here with well-known Hamilton personalities, and sometimes Hamiltonians who are not as well known, but are also moving our community forward. Join me every Thursday night at 10 as I and you meet your fellow Hamiltonians.
Hamilton Talks, Thursdays at 10 p.m., only on Cable 14.
Hello, Hamilton. Welcome back to the Just Ask Bob show. As you can see, I've gone to a lot of effort to demonstrate the Fine Multi-Master tool. We've got everything here. We've got ceramic tile, we've got drywall, we've got ABS, we've got, I don't know what this is, it's something we're going to scrape off. We've got a variety of screws, we've got a notch out, we have laminate wood flooring with a register vent. Now, let me take a moment to show you another fine feature of the Fine, the way you change your blades. It's toolless. You do not need any tools to change your blade, which again, on the cheaper models, most of them you do need to start fiddling and grappling at tools. You flick it up, all the way over, release the pin, and then you can change your blades. Now, the true blades made in Germany, the true blades by Fine, they have this pattern in them which sits right inside the groove. Now, the blades are very, very expensive, so they've come up with a way to adapt the blades. This blade here is made by Bosch, I believe, or Dremel. You can adapt the blades, but you have to use an adapter ring. Once you put the adapter ring on, you lock it in, so you can now use different blades from different manufacturers. Works out very nice. So again, you put your blade on, lock it in place, put the key in, push down. Now you can also articulate it. You can rotate till it snaps. So you have different positions depending on what angle you're working at. You can set it up to be at a 90-degree angle, or you can set it up completely straight. Push back down, lock. That's as easy as it is. Okay, now, very important when working with these tools, have your safety glasses. When compared to using, I want to give you an idea here actually. This is going to be perfect. What not to use, just as important as what to use. Much too rough. Much too rough for clean finish work like this. Okay. Okay, here's the register. There we go. That's the right way to do it. This tool, let's turn it on actually. Okay, let's get it to stop. Okay, that's off. No vibration. Very user-friendly, minimal vibration, fantastic for making specialty cuts. Doesn't damage what you're using. Now again, depending on what you're doing at home, at least on my job, sometimes we get stuck. We may have to run copper through here. We may have to do something different. So let me show you now how you do what I call a notch-out cut. We'll get this guy out of the way. This was part of my demonstrators, but I never got to it. This is the Dremel. Again, in its own right for hobby work, this is a fantastic tool, but again, it's the North American technology of rotating like a drill or spinning like a circular saw blade. No comparison to the fine Multimaster. Minimal pressure. Whatever, most North American tools I use, you're always putting your chest into it. You're always pushing into it. This can be operated by a child. Now, with a parent watching, be very careful about that. Now, let's take a look at how well it gets obstructions out of the way. Now let's take a moment to try another blade. Oh, a little bit of vibration. This is the multi-purpose scraper blade. This is what you would use to remove caulking from around your windows or any type of dried product that can be scraped. Now again, very simple, toolless blade change. Pull out the key, take out the blade, pop in the new blade, get it lined up. Pop back the key. Okay. Now the heat actually reactivates the glue. You clean that off. Now that was beautiful. Now let me give you an example. A couple years ago, it was just a disaster. Old Hamilton home. They had layer of caulking, over layer of caulking, and that was actually good quality. It was all the best types of caulking, but nobody ever removed the caulking. On that job, it was myself and my employee. It wasn't even that big of a home. We spent the better part of an entire day, I mean the old-fashioned way. You've got a pry bar, you scrape and removing all the caulking. This did the job in about an hour and a half that it took us 6 to 7 hours to do manually, and not even a mark on the blade. These blades actually last the longest. Now, if you're buying this blade and you're using a lot, you have a lot of caulk in the roof from a lot of windows, this blade may be $30, OEM, genuine German blade. Now, if you're buying the knockoff from Dremel or another manufacturer that you use the adapter ring with, you can get the blade for half the price, but it won't last. The amount of blades you'll have to go through removing the caulking from your windows, so it's always best to buy the highest quality blade you can afford. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to start tackling some drywall, pulling some grout out from the tile, and getting up some thin set. We'll be back right after this. Hello Hamilton, welcome back to the Just Ask Bob show. Very special show today, no emails. We're demonstrating the Fine Multi-Master, phenomenal tool. We've been cutting through screws, we've been cutting through laminate flooring. Now we're about to get some of this grout out, or thin set out. So obviously in this case, if you've got to remove a tile, first you remove the grout, then you've got to remove the thin set. Now remember, that's not butter, that's thin set, that's concrete based. Look, it even took a layer of the plywood off. Incredible. Easy to use, don't have to push, no vibration. Completely the opposite of any type of power, North American power tool you've ever used, such as circular saw, reciprocating saw, Dremel Max, very different. Instantaneous blade changes. Pop it out. Get the attachment out. Line up the teeth. Pop the key in. Okay, now we're going to get some grout out. A little off topic, but remember, this was the wrong order. Always, if you have a damaged tile to remove, no matter what you're tempted to do, do not hit the tile. You're going to end up cracking all of them. You have to remove the grout from all four sides. Now you've isolated the shock transmission. As you bang it, it's not going to crack the other tiles. Then get the tile out, then you get the thin set out and start over. Okay, now, hardwood flooring. How many people have installed hardwood and you've got to go over things, or sometimes you've got to cut through your baseboard? Let's put another attachment on. Okay. This case, it's a true universal one, right from the manufacturer, so we don't need the ring. Oh, a little hard to get out. Okay. Now, obviously, follow that line. That is beautiful. That's 100%. On the right, on the left, I came up too high. Well, that's because the back end of my tool's hitting my tile prop. So for those at home, obviously when you're doing it, keep things out of the way. But I mean, look at the precision. Very, very fine tool. It's called the fine. Okay, let's get on to the ABS now. Now, in this particular case, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. I love my ABS pipe cutter. However, it needs clearance. If you haven't got the clearance, you can't use the tool. Now, in this particular case, let's say you've got a run here that doesn't line up. You have to cut this back because you want to get another coupler on. So what we're going to do is we're going to slice through with the fine. Now you can get your coupler on, and then you can continue your plumbing run in whatever angle you need. Again, you can be found at the Home Depot. I'm very proud of this tool. I wholeheartedly endorse it. Speaking of the Home Depot, big thanks to the Home Depot for supplying us with, well, the fine I bought myself because I love it. I bought the fine a long time ago. But it's very special thanks to the Home Depot for the ABS, for the drywall, for the tiles, for what we use to construct our props in order to bring these shows to you, Hamilton. On a quick special note, please don't forget, Just Ask Bob. Enter the search into Facebook, and you may win me in your home. I'm going to show up with a tool belt for you, full size, and help you start tackling your own to-do list. Whether it's chipping away, laying tile at the kitchen backsplash, or teach you how to pull that toilet up and get rid of it. Just Ask Bob on Facebook. Send us your submission, send us your photographs, and we may show up in your home for the day. Now, on a side note, fast forward, rewind, watch these shows at your own pace. Get out the popcorn, get out the remote. Many people can watch it through various media devices on a big television in the living room. Very easy. www.justaskbob.com. The full season 2, season 1, every show we've done. Thank you, Hamilton. Till next time.